Welcome, everybody. I just wanted to share with you this quick wisdom seed on what to do when you're going through unanswered prayers or a time of delay. Um, it's natural, it happens to everyone's life. There's many different theologies and philosophies of why we have to wait. I'm not going to get into that today. The truth of the matter is, there's just going to come a time where we just have to wait for the Lord. Okay? And every man of God goes through this. I know a lot of people don't talk about it, but it comes a time where you feel as though your prayer is not being answered. You feel as though the God's not hearing you, and the feeling to quit, the feeling to walk away, the feeling to stop believing God for that thing as though it's not going to come to pass. It comes, and the thoughts flood your mind, and it happens to the best of us. The thing is, my advice is just to push through. Just push through. You know, I want to share with you the story in Luke chapter 1. Zechariah and his wife were not able to have a child, and in that time it was seen as a negative thing to not have a child. Also, people were seen as though they were cursed and as though the Lord didn't love them, and the feeling to just give up was just as relevant then as it is here. We sometimes feel as if we want to just give up. We've been praying and believing for God, and we're not seeing the breakthrough in our lives. It happens. Sometimes we just stop praying for a couple of days, right? Well, Zechariah was a priest, which makes things a little bit more interesting, because here he was saying, "Thus says the Lord," performing God's functions, and yet he was not being blessed. And it comes a time in people's life when we go through that. I personally have unresolved issues in my life, things that I'm really believing God for, miracles I'm waiting for God for, family members that need to be healed, things in my own personal life that needs to be dealt with, and I'm just waiting for God. How long is this thing going to take? You know, I'm out there, I'm preaching the gospel to people at the streets and in work. I got my own Bible study. I'm doing the YouTube thing now, and then, you know, it's even with this YouTube thing, I'm like, Lord, I don't want to put myself out there. I don't want to put my face on camera. This is not something I want to do. But I felt it in my heart that it was time to carry out God's will regardless of what I feel. Even though I feel like I have some things in my life that needs to be fixed, I'm still believing God for victory in a lot of areas in my life. And I'm saying to myself, wow, you know, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit here and wait for that miracle? Or are you just going to push through and believe God for that miracle? I'm going to push through. And Zechariah was going through the same thing. Him and his wife, they were not able to have a child, and they were actually too old to have a child at this point. Doesn't it seem like there's some things in our life where it just feel like the time has passed on that thing, like we can never go back and achieve that dream, that thing that we really, truly, honestly were believing God for, and we think that it's completely gone, it's washed away? Well, I have news for you. God hasn't forgotten about it. I say God hasn't forgotten about it. And I know that that's where it becomes very, very fun and interesting to be a Christian, to see things that were apparently dead in our life come back to life. Oh, God has a way of doing things, doesn't he? So an angel appeared to Zechariah as he was performing his priestly duties. And he says, "Do not be afraid, Zechariah, for your prayer has been heard." You hear that? Your prayer has been heard. "And your wife Elizabeth will bear you a son, and you should call his name John." Wow. You see, he was too old, but he wasn't too old in God's time. And God still came to him, and he sent an angel to him, and he still spoke to him, and he still blessed him. And if you know the rest of the story, the angel had to shut his mouth to stop him from destroying his breakthrough. See, I don't care if it's 10, 20, 30 years and you haven't had your prayers answered. I don't care if you've been waiting forever. Don't let your mouth agree with the world. Don't let your mouth agree with the devil. Let your mouth agree with what God says. For my Bible says that the moment I pray, God hears me. And when he hears me, he's a faithful and just God. Some things you don't need to understand. Some things you don't need to see. There are some prayers that people have prayed, prophecies that people have made, that they were not able to experience in their lifetime. but their generations ahead of them receive that blessing. And I just want to encourage you to not give up and quit because you don't have a prayer answered. Push through. Put your head down and serve God, and trust that God is going to take care of you and your family. And watch God perform at the time that where you least expect it. Meaning, when I say least expected, it's a time where you're no longer concerned about this thing anymore. It no longer worries you anymore. I haven't said you haven't stopped expecting God's blessing. You least expect it because it just happens suddenly. So put your head down, press through, serve God, continue to worship, continue to fast, continue to give God your all, and watch God do miracles in your life. I hope this message was a blessing to you. If it was, please hit the like button. Please subscribe so you can get more of these videos, and share this with as many people as you know, because you just don't know whose life you could be impacting and changing at this moment. I love you. God bless you. Have a great day.